Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring. Today I'm going to be taking a look at restoring the tomb from my 1990 copy of HeroQuest. In this video I'm going to be doing a lot of the same sort of things that I've done in previous HeroQuest restoration videos, but I thought it was worth doing a video for this particular piece anyway. So what we have on screen here is the tomb that came in my particular copy. You can see it has been lovingly painted by the previous owner, and that's something that I'm going to have to deal with. There are a few other minor issues. There's one that I will talk about in more detail later on, but you can see that the card element is quite squished. It's crumpled, it's dinged up, and it's starting to buckle in a number of places. So we're going to take that off and we will deal with that, as well as repainting the top part. So when I fold out the piece here, you can see there is quite a lot of damage to this piece of card, and it's starting to separate out. So I'm going to spray this with a fabric freshener. You can do this with water, but I already have freshener in a mister bottle, so it's more convenient. Also, I live in a hard water area, and if I use the freshener, there's less chance of leaving any mineral deposits on the card. So I'm going to give it a fine misting on both sides. And then I have here a sheet of clean card. This is actually a piece of card from the Transformers trading card game. I'm going to overlay that with a piece of greaseproof paper. I am going to position our damp piece of card from the tomb. Then I'm going to place another piece of greaseproof paper over the top. A second piece of clean card. So we've made a little sandwich, and then we're going to put some weight on that. You can drop a couple of books on it if you like, but I'm going to use clips here. I'm going to clip around the edge of the card to make sure we've got a really tight sandwich there. And while we're leaving that to dry, I have spray undercoated the plastic element of the piece, and I'm now going to give it a coat of Mechanicus Standard Grey. Eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed there is something wrong with this tomb that I haven't noticed at this point, but I will notice it once I've finished applying this Mechanicus Standard Grey. And I'm going to do 2 coats of Mechanicus Standard Grey, 2 thin coats, just to get a good solid grey coat over everything. And once that was dry, I noticed that the previous owner of my copy of the game had sawn off the bottom of the tomb. You can see where the knight's feet are, a piece of the plastic has been cut away, and I am not sure why they have done that, but this meant that I had to do something I don't really like doing. I had to get out the green stuff, because I had to actually make a little piece to glue on there. So green stuff looks like this. It looks like blue and yellow stuff, and then you knead it together and it will go green, and then you can sculpt stuff with it. You need to keep your fingers kind of wet with this. It's a good idea to use like Vaseline or vegetable oil or something. With any molding tools you're going to be using, you want to keep those as well covered in a little bit of vegetable oil or something so that it doesn't stick to the green stuff. I'm not really very good with green stuff, so I'm not going to give a lot of advice on how to do it. But basically what I've done here is I've scored the bottom of the foot area of the miniature just to create a rough area. And then I'm going to use the green stuff that I have prepared, and I'm going to make a little piece that is as close as possible to the piece that is missing. I had to look online to see exactly what it looks like, and it's actually a draped piece of fabric that goes down over the feet and then over those bottom shields of the tomb. So I'm cutting everything to size here, and then I sculpt it all up, and I haven't got very good footage of that, so I do apologise for that, but there's not very good footage of me sculpting it into shape because I'm a bit cack-handed with that sort of thing. But I sculpted it into shape, and then when it was cured I glued it in place and then painted it all up, and that is what we have got. And I'm sorry if that wasn't particularly informative, but yeah, I am not the best with green stuff, so I'm probably not the person to listen to get the best tips on that sort of thing. But anyway, there we go. I am now going to do a non-oil wash over the whole thing. Of course, that will bring out the detail. It will define all of the recesses, make the grey look less flat, and just make the whole thing look much nicer. And I'm not doing anything particularly exciting with these paint jobs. I'm just getting things done as quickly and effectively as possible, really. So when that is dry, I'm switching to Dawnstone, and I'm just going to do a heavy dry brush over the whole thing. Of course, with a dry brush, you put some paint on the brush and then you wipe almost all of the paint back off, so you're just left with a very small amount on the bristles, and then you flick the brush over the surface of the miniature, and you will leave a dusting of paint on the most raised details. And it just helps to define things. I'm going to do a second dry brush with Administratum Grey just over the most raised details on the knights, so on the sword, on the face, the tops of the feet, and those little shields around the edge. A very, very light one, just to make it pop a little bit more. And by the time we've done all that, our little card piece is dry, so we can undo our sandwich. And this has been left for best part of a day, really, and you can see that all of those buckles have squashed out, and we have nice, neat edges top and bottom, which is exactly what we wanted. So next up, I'm going to insert that into the plastic element of the piece, like so. And then I've got some PVA glue here, and I'm going to apply PVA glue on the corner where the two ends of the card element join together to seal that corner and make the whole piece more robust. And to secure that in place while the glue dries, I'm just going to use a small elastic band. And then I'm going to apply PVA around the bottom of the card element, and that's to seal that edge, because that edge is exposed and moisture can get into those edges and cause problems. So I'm just going to seal that all off. And we're almost there. You can see it looks pretty neat and tidy at this point. Nice corners, and it's looking neat. But we're going to use some Screaming Skull just to touch up any cracks on the card element, because on the corners and also on that corner join that we glued together, there is exposed card. So we're just going to use the Screaming Skull just to touch up those corners. It's just a little finishing touch. It's not absolutely necessary, but it does just make the whole thing look a little bit better. And you may need a couple of coats, you may need to blend it and feather it a little bit. But when you're done, that's it, the whole thing finished. And you can see here the before and after photographs. The one on the left is what I was originally presented with, the one on the right is what I've ended up with, and I'm pretty happy with that. This was a slightly more challenging restoration than previous ones because I had to do some sculpting with green stuff, and I don't tend to use green stuff a lot because I'm not a sculptor. But overall, I'm happy with the end result, and hopefully some people have found this video interesting. If you have liked it, please consider pressing the like button. If you really liked it, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so. And hopefully I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.